Welcome back, guys. My guest this week, she is a model, she is an influencer, and she is the creative director for Sleek Magazine. I got to meet her at a charity event here recently. This is Miss Samantha Baker, and my co-host for today. Excited to have her all the way from Frog Level, Arkansas, by way of Houston, Texas. She is a world finalist for Swimsuit USA. It is Miss Kylee McGaha. How you guys doing today, guys?
Great. We're doing good.
Good.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Sam, awesome. Sam, so can you tell me real quick, how did you end up doing this whole thing, being the creative director for Sleek?
Well, I started modeling and then I applied for Sleek, and I started talking with Art and asking him what his vision was.
So back up. So what is Sleek Magazine and who is Art? By the way, when we read the thing, when you said I love working with art, I legitimately thought, because I didn't read the capital A, that you like working with art. I was like, oh, she's an artist, and I didn't know what that meant. And then after the third paragraph, I was like, oh, this is this is actually a person named Art.
Oh, yeah.
It's a proper noun.
So he is the owner, and it's a fashion magazine.
Yeah.
And I met him at a brunch, networking brunch. So, and I started asking him what his vision was for Sleek. And he just has an amazing vision, bringing up women in the industry. And he just utilizes that. And we just had and shared the same visions, and we work really well together, and he decided to bring me up in the company as a creative director. And so that's how I got involved with that. And we've been working hand in hand ever since, and we just make really good business partners.
Can you describe Sleek? Like, what kind of magazine is it?
So we do all different kinds of like fashion. We do like the editorial, but we also do like swimsuit, and we do lingerie as well.
Nice. Very cool. And then you ended up coming to Kylee and I were together at the this is the Bunny Ball that just came. How did you end up there? You live in the San Diego area or Orange County?
So I'm in Orange County, and we're in Newport area, and I actually am like talking with Gatsby. Gatsby, they run like a membership kind of thing, and I got an invitation to the Bunny Ball, and I hooked up with Nino, and he runs everything, and he invited us, and we talked to him strictly like through Sleek. And he connected us. He brought us over there exclusively, and we were in close contact with him. And I just fell in love with that event. And we plan on attending the Teddy Ball as well.
Have you been to any of the charity events, the other ones like Babes in Toyland and all the other ones?
No, and so you actually mentioned a lot of that, and I've been talking to Barry Bly. I've been talking to Nino about all of that too, and we definitely plan on attending those.
Kylee, what do you think about those events?
I think they're so much fun. It's a great opportunity to network and meet new people. I think it's great.
Yeah, you get really dressed up, and we have red carpets and everything like that. One of the things that I've tried to do is try to encourage people to try to build a network specifically through charity events. Because when you do that, when you build a network through charity events, you kind of sift out the psychopaths. And I literally mean psychopaths and narcissists. There's a bunch of studies that show, not studies, but there's a few hypotheses that show that like a lot of times when you have a friend group and you guys pick on each other and like make fun of each other in like a kind way, like think about a football locker room, right? Yeah. Or girls will be like, hey bitch, all that kind of stuff. You're doing so to try to see if anybody in the group is a narcissist, because a narcissist is not going to be able to tolerate that type of ribbing or teasing. Does that make sense? It's almost a way to see, are all these people, do they fit in the group? Are they inclusive in the group? Again, this is not this is just a theory, but I think it's actually a really interesting theory that some evolutionary psychologists have come from that idea. You guys are both, you have family in Arkansas. You aren't originally from Arkansas, but you have some family from there?
Yeah, I still have like uncles and aunts that live there. Actually, my dad just drove back from Michigan, and he actually stopped there just a couple of days ago to visit them. So I have a love for Arkansas. So finding out that Kylee was from there, I was like, oh my gosh, that's where my family's from. So yeah.
Kylee, what's it like being from the metropolis of Frog Level, Arkansas? What's that like? When you wake up in the morning, were the skyscrapers like blocking out the sun whenever you'd wake up?
I didn't. No, I did not see skyscrapers until like, I guess, going to Houston. And it was definitely an experience. One of my bosses, whenever I moved to Houston, I first started working there. One of my bosses asked me how I felt about Houston living there. And I was like, I'll tell you this, the buildings are really tall and there are a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing but trees and mud and dirt and farm animals.
Frog level?
Yeah, I had a lot of friends. They were all farm animals.
And if a guy wanted to impress you, he'd have to go noodling. Is that how it worked?
Oh yeah, catfish noodling. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I did like professional catfish noodling for a while. I was on a team. Yeah.
Did you have any?
Pretty good.
Did any of the people that you work with or go to school with? Did they have any interesting experiences with farm animals?
Yeah, I have a pretty interesting story about this guy that I know I went to school with, and he literally fucked a. I dared this guy. I'm gonna go ahead and just like say I dared him to fuck a goat on the ag farm. And he did it. I mean, he straight fucked this goat on the ag farm when we got off the bus.
And then he asked you out afterwards. Isn't that correct?
No, he didn't do that.
I thought he asked you to prom.
Oh, he did ask me to prom, yeah. But that was like months later. Yeah, he did. He asked me to prom, and I was like, I literally watched you fuck a goat like 3 months ago. Why would I go to prom with you?
So you're saying that him fucking a goat increased the probability of you going to prom with him, or decreased it?
I mean, he's an awesome dude. Like, he was just really funny.
I just want to bring this up, that you told him to fuck a goat.
I was the one who dared him, yeah.
And then after you dared him to fuck a goat, he did fuck a goat. Then he asked you to prom, and you said no.
And I still said,
fellas, rule number 1 at MOA, we don't listen to the words, okay? I just want to point that out. This is an extreme example. You know, I'm sure he's a great guy. I think that as far as simp mode is concerned, that's probably the best story I've ever heard. Hey, I dare you, go fuck a goat. Yeah. And he said, oh, okay, whatever.
He did it. It was a great experience.
He's trying to impress you, and then he screwed
it. It was a great experience.
What was the experience for the goat like?
I mean, it was pretty funny because I was honestly kind of concerned about the goat. Like, for a hot minute, I was like, what's about to happen to this poor goat? And like the whole time we just like were watching him, and this goat is like like the whole time. But I mean, he went after it. Like, he did the thing.
And canceled for bestiality.
Canceled.
Got it. All right. Awesome. So do you have family from anywhere else? What is your ethnicity? Do you have any?
I have Indian, Cherokee Indian. I also have family from England, and I'm part Welsh. But that's all I really know.
Yeah.
But I haven't done any of those DNA tests, which I kind of would like to one day.
You grew up in Riverside.
A small town called Nuevo. I was born in Riverside Community Hospital, but yeah.
Okay.
It's not far from Riverside. It's about a half hour away.
So like gangbangers and no, not that part of Riverside?
It's like kind of like on the outskirts. I'm in like a small town. It's more like agricultural, like horses, farms, like very small town, but not too far out of all of that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. There's always a guy involved. So whenever we talk about like the story of a girl moving from one place to another, there's always a dude. That you said you moved to OC and there was a dude involved. What was that story like?
Yeah. So that was my ex. That actually my first relationship outside of my divorce. He was actually probably one of the best people I ever dated. The only reason why we didn't work out was lack of affection, and we actually met in the middle. So I was out in Redlands at this time, and he was in Huntington Beach, and we met in the middle in Placentia. And yeah, so I didn't want to move too far away from my boy's dad, so I didn't want to move all the way to Huntington. And so we just met in the middle, and I still live out in Placentia because I have a lot of work out in Huntington Beach and Newport and everything, and I actually fell in love with Placentia.
So I have two questions here. First off, lack of affection. What is that? How does that work? What is that?
He wasn't like touchy-feely.
Oh, he wasn't. He was a lack of affection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like even had to like ask him to kiss me hello or goodbye, and it just wasn't in his DNA, and it just caused me to like have like depression, and it just snowballed. And other than that, I mean, we were like best friends. We barely ever fought. He was a great guy, and it just didn't work out in the end.
Well, so I guess we should back up a little bit. So you were married previously.
Yes, I was.
So like, how much was this high school, college? When did you get married?
No, so we were together when I was 22 until I was 23, I would say, until I was 30 years old. So it was about a 7-year relationship.
Okay, yeah. And then that's what you had, your twin boys?
Yes. So yeah, we had twins, and they're 5 years old now. And we broke up about 3.5 years ago. Was it a similar reason that you guys broke up? No. I don't like to badmouth. I'll just say that he had a lot of growth to do. I did too.
Okay.
But that's my boy's dad, so I'd rather not.
Of course. All right, so you moved to OC with the guy, right? And honestly, I abhor Los Angeles. I go there for charity events. I think it's the worst traffic I've ever been. I love Orange County.
Yeah.
Orange County is phenomenal. The weather is perfect. The houses are beautiful.
A lot of opportunity
The restaurants are there. So why Orange County? Well, you mentioned before you really like Orange County. Why do you like it so much?
There's so much opportunity in Orange County. It's also very safe there. It's just beautiful. The beaches are beautiful. I have my boys there. The schools there are great. I have my family there as well.
Yeah.
Extended family, my aunts, my uncles. But I honestly just love the atmosphere, the opportunity, especially in where I'm trying to expand now in fashion and modeling and all of that. So, but especially for my boys and them growing up, they're very important to me. They're my reason.
Both of you have been models for less than 2 years. Well, you were doing pageants for a long time, Kylie, but
Yeah.
you like the modeling, I don't want to say
No,
traditional.
I've done modeling for a long time too
Okay.
as well.
Okay. You have
It's not like big. I mean, obviously I'm not like a big model or anything.
right,
But I've done a lot of like modeling work, runway stuff.
Okay.
I used to do a lot for Dillard's actually, and then it turned into like local magazine work, like print work. So
you have not been modeling for very long.
Only since October.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm very, very new to it. I've always been really insecure and really shy in front of a camera. And this last year, I've just decided to face fears and kind of go for things. And I've been able to overcome these insecurities and fears and really like empower myself and go for things. And it's just all been falling into place. And so only since October.
Kylie, you were doing pageants and stuff like as a young teenager, right? Do you think
no, even younger than that.
even younger than that, right?
Like I think I was in first grade whenever I did my first pageant.
Oh shit. Okay. Do you think that affects people to be that competitive that young or to do these pageants? Would you recommend your kids doing something like that?
I would never, like if I had a daughter, I would never put her in pageants. Like
Well,
it would
maybe
have to be
later on-
something for her to like come up to me and say, "Hey, like mom, I want to do a pageant." And then I'd be like, "Okay, cool." But it would never be anything I just like put her into, especially at that age. Like I would never want to do that.
Why? Do you think you were too young to handle those type of things? Do you think it affects you down the road?
I do think that it does affect you just because you're constantly like comparing to yourself compared to everybody else. Like if you don't like win or whatever, you're like, well, what do I not have that she has? And it can get very competitive. You do start to learn about like how women treat other women, and especially in that like environment, you start to realize like, oh, okay, we're gonna be nice, and then game's over, and then now it's like, okay, we're not nice anymore. Cool. Like it's super weird.
Too young for that, maybe.
Right. It is very, and it can be very stressful, honestly, like at such a young age, and you're dealing with all this like stress and like rushing around and like worry and anxiety, and you're just like anxious, like, what am I even doing up here? Why do I have all this makeup on? I'm literally 9. Like, what am I doing?
Should be running around.
Yeah, all the coaching that you do like every day, like every other day, whatever. You have like all these pageant coaches. You got to go deal with that after you get done with your extracurricular like activities, if you do anything else, and it's just like all this for a competition about how like cute you think I am. This might be a problem, So I definitely think it's kind of a problem for younger ages.
Interesting. From the last, I guess in October, what have you learned? What has helped you a lot?
In what aspect? Like,
well, I mean, you're doing pretty well. I mean, you're getting a lot of work. What is it? What is the thing that's helped you so much? Was it the networking? Like, are there any photographers that you enjoy shooting with?
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely the networking. Like that's what I do on my free time. Even when I'm going out on a night out, like I'm not going out on a night out to like party. I usually am going out as my goal, as my mindset is to like network, to meet people with and learn their stories and to possibly connect for business. And I go out to specific places for that reason. And I end up like meeting a lot of people who are very successful and end up like having a business connection or or like they write a book and it teaches me something about my life and how to like become more successful, or even something in my healing journey that can help me in my confidence or help me just refocus.
Yeah.
And then, I have learned and liked certain photographers, and also just how I can perfect certain things about myself, or even since I am a creative director, I'm in charge of a lot of girls, how I can help them. And then I also got to meet a red carpet photographer and a couple other different photographers that I'm going to work with in the future. And I've had like phone calls and meetings and stuff, and they're going to help me. And even just the advice that they've given me, it's been pretty incredible. And then I'm going to meet with one of them next week, and he's talking to all different kind of designers who are giving them advice just from my look. And I'm just so excited for that and what I'm going to learn through him. And he's kind of taking me under his wing. And I am just like, wow, this is just so incredible. And each person that I'm working with has such a different style.
Yeah.
That it's just really cool, just like learning all these different photographers and what they do. And it's just kind of like customizing me and what my journey is and what fits me best.
You know, what's interesting is that's what we teach in Men of Action, is this concept of going out and using networking as an evolutionary adaptation. But the other part of it is when we go out, like the three of us went out last night, we didn't go out for 15 hours, right? It's not that let's show up at 10, let's first round of drinks, second round of drinks, someone have some Coke, where's the Molly?
Yeah.
Let's do drugs all night. You know what we need to do? Let's go to Dre's after hours. Oh shit, my phone doesn't work. Let's keep doing more Coke. Let's do, oh look, Rita's over there laughing.
Rita.
Oh, that's never happened to you before, huh, Rita? And then afterwards it's like, hey, you know what, guys, let's go to the Rhino. Yeah, let's do the Rhino real quick.
Yeah.
And then it's like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, that's not networking.
No.
One of the things that happened, it's really interesting when you read, there's a book I read recently by a club owner, I forgot his name, and he was mentioning this thing where he would use this excuse mentally to say, I have to go party with these people for business. I've got to go get fucked up with my clients, and that's the only way that I can maintain this, right? And he was telling himself, this is for work, this is for business, yada, yada, yada. And reality of the situation is he was kind of using it as a cope. Whereas what you're saying is use these social situations for what they're for, and not get caught up. Like I like to say, I like to be of Vegas, or I like to be in Vegas, but not of Vegas. And what are you saying?
So I don't like do drugs, and actually, like even at the bunny ball, like I didn't even drink at the bunny ball.
You might jump in that pit and get hurt. That's the reason why you got to stay sober. Yeah.
Well, and also I like to present myself well.
Sure.
And if I'm networking and I want to remember conversations, I want to remember people, and I want to present myself in a certain way. And if I feel an opportunity is very important, like the bunny ball, which I did, is I want to present myself a certain way. Now, when I go out on my networking nights, I'll have a girlfriend come out with me, and we'll have a couple glasses of wine, and those I feel like are appropriate times where I can just kind of like, unwind and everything. And it's not like I can't have a couple glasses of wine, but I'm not going out to get trashed. Plus, I mean, what's the reason of that? I mean, sometimes there's like last night we loosened up and had like, our bottle service and everything. And that was an appropriate night to like loosen up. But yeah, I just don't feel like it's necessary to be partying and getting crazy and everything, because where is that going to get me?
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of people use it as a cope. They're just legitimately like, hey, this is how I keep my friends by spending $10K on this bottle, and then I have, look, all my friends showed up. I bought this table for Drake. It's $100,000 table for Drake at Excess. Yeah, look, I have friends now. Look at all the friends I have. All these people just all of a sudden like me. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I do feel like to a certain extent it's cope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that makes it kind of difficult. And I think the real problem is when you see guys doing cocaine by themselves. Like that is the lowest. Like doing cocaine because you're trying to be social. I've never tried coke, but I would imagine, I guess it looks fun. All these people are doing it. But like the people who do cocaine by themselves in like a bathroom stall, that's when you have an issue. You know what I'm saying? You're a dude doing coke by yourself. I think that's where we're kind of hit the rock bottom there.
Yeah.
All right, so October. So it hadn't even been a year of you modeling, right? And it's been a whirlwind for you.
It has, and the creative director, who I'm doing creative director for, he's like, you're just riding a wave, and I'm enjoying watching it, and you deserve it. And he's like, I'm married to you, to divorce me. And I told him, I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I want to bring Sleep up with me. But he allows me to do my own stuff too, which is really nice. But yeah, it's been amazing, like the people that have been brought into my life and just been lining up. And I really want to do something good that this is all coming to me wherever I go, wherever it gets me, I want to use it for good. So I'm just feeling really blessed with the opportunities that have come to me in such a short time.
Have you had any bad experiences? I'm going to ask this to both of you. Have you had any experiences with like some people were just a little inappropriate or anything like that?
Yeah, I've had like a photographer want like sexual stuff and like pay me more for sexual stuff.
You mean he wants to take photographs of you doing sexual stuff?
To him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sexual stuff to him?
Yes.
Okay, please expound.
Like sex,
Okay.
And I told him no, I'm not doing that.
Was it one of these things? We haven't got to this, but you have an OF, and he assumed because you had an OF that you would do something like this.
Yeah, in my OF, I have never done like boy girl content.
You haven't done nudity on your OF, have you?
I've done some nudity.
Okay.
But I have retracted from that.
Yeah.
And that happened through a guy I was dating, and I actually am really appreciative of him, kind of bringing that back to my senses. I lost myself for a little bit after my ex and I broke up. I never thought I would lose that relationship. He was somebody that was really close to me. But no, I never done boy-girl content. And that photographer definitely assumed that I would do that. And he offered me a couple grand for a night with him and doing content, which would probably go on his OF. And that he would utilize that. But yeah, no, I definitely said no.
You gotta tell me later who this was. I have to know who the fuck this was.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah, no, I mean the assumption. Kylie, have you ever had any like weird situations happen?
I've had a photographer ask if he could touch my boobs because he said he's never touched fake boobs before.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what?
I'm the same way. I've never touched them, so I'm still trying to learn. I think
okay.
they're like bags of sand is what I've heard.
Yeah.
That's essentially what I've heard. But anything else? Any other kind of weird thing?
I know I have a photographer. There's this one photographer that asked me to like do stuff with girls sometimes, and I'm like, I don't have an OnlyFans, so like it would just be absolutely pointless to try to like do this like content work with somebody. Like it's not even gonna benefit me at all. Like why would I do that? It's such a waste of time. I
saw a girl do that once to piss her boyfriend off.
Oh my
and
gosh.
she doesn't even OF, and she did a guy-girl scene with a couple, a girl-guy scene with a couple. She was married, pissed at her husband, and fucking did the scene, and then divorced him afterwards. And I was like, God damn. And she was trying to explain it to me, and I'm like, hey, you know that doesn't come down later, right? You know that like stays up there. It was one of the transition from happily married to like doing that. And because I was at a Halloween party, and she walks up to me and she explains, hey, I'm sure you heard that I did so and so. And I'm like, I didn't hear shit. Well, you did what?
Like the only
hey, by the way,
person
you know who it is, by the way.
there.
You know her. It was crazy. Like when you see that kind of stuff, it's one of these things where there's a line. Now, obviously, neither of you do this, but like there's this weird line where on the one hand, you're like, hey, you understand this stays up there forever. But on the other hand, it's like, I keep seeing girls do this and there seems to be no consequences for it.
There isn't.
Do you
but
understand?
I think that there isn't right now, but I've been saying this, and this is like one of the reasons why I still have not started one, because like I feel like at some point there is going to be an issue where it will become a problem.
I think there's consequences in their personal life
Okay.
that we don't really talk about.
You mean psychologically, or you mean like their relationships with other people?
Like their relationships with other people, and even on the podcast that we talked about last night, like girls not caring that it would affect like relationships and stuff. I mean, it does affect your relationships, and
the amount that it affects the pool of men you can choose from, or it affects the actual relationship once you start it?
The pool of men, and honestly, it affects your relationships with your family. If you ever have kids, and making those choices and not realizing that in the future, those relationships that you like affect, it's not just here and now. It does affect your future.
Are you talking about just OF in general, or like doing guy-girl stuff?
OF, like the guy and girl stuff, but OF in general, like the type of stuff you put on there. So you really have to think about that. So when I was doing stuff and I was doing nudity, taking it back really was a relief, like to my mother.
What do you mean taking it back? So you're saying you put nudity up there and then you stop with the nudity? So you took the nudity down.
So I'm shortly after, like 2 months after I started OF, I ended up meeting a guy, and I absolutely like fell in love with him, and I stopped posting for a while because I had no desire to.
Sure.
And I didn't even tell him about my OF because we weren't friends on Instagram or anything, and we didn't make anything official. He was telling me he wasn't emotionally available or anything, but I just didn't tell him about it because we weren't making anything official. I wasn't posting on there or anything. Sure. Well, when he ended up finding out, he was really hurt about it. So then we ended up talking about...
I'm confused. He was hurt. There's no guy-girl content. Was there nudity on your OF at this point?
Yes, but it was past posts.
What does that mean? Past posts?
Like before I met him.
And he was hurt because
I didn't tell him.
Did you tell him you didn't have one, or he just didn't ask?
He didn't ask. We didn't talk about it.
He was hurt because of that? That's interesting.
Yeah, just because I wasn't honest.
I can see being confused, but okay, I got it. Okay.
So I did tell him like I didn't feel like it was necessary since we weren't like official, and because
right. That was my point actually. It's like if he didn't ask and you didn't lie to him, like I can understand being disappointed, but actually being hurt seems a little like excessive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could kind of get it, I guess, if he's like hurt for you or something, because some people have like that view, like this view or ideology of the fact that like, oh, you're doing this, like something's wrong with you type of, like you've met like the people that are like, oh, well, like if you're doing OnlyFans, something's up, right? And so like maybe like if he cared about you or something.
Yeah, but
right?
it wasn't in that way. He was hurt like himself, like it was about him.
He just didn't like the fact that you had one.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, I'm willing to talk about this. I haven't like posted since I've met you because I had no desire to. And I even like went through and I showed him everything, but then he was like too upset about everything from the past, and like we've been kind of like back and forth ever since. And like I literally like disabled it when we tried to make things serious, but then like we've been so back and forth because of it, and he just hasn't let go.
Okay, so you've disabled it and he's still having a problem with it?
Yeah.
Because he's concerned about what his friends think about it or something to that effect?
Just concerned about his trust issues with me.
His trust issues is in you being with another dude?
Trust issues because I didn't tell him about it in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, of course, you know, I host Access Vegas, and I go on Fresh and Fit. I'm going on whatever podcast, and with the trust issues thing is something we bring up. But the trust issue thing is usually I went to work and she fucked my friend while I was at work. You're saying because the thing is for me is like having an OF that doesn't show like nudity, where you've taken the nudity down or whatever, or implied. While I'm sure it's a big deal to some people, it's not as big a deal as like doing the gangbang, right? And you took it down, and he still didn't trust. There was nothing else. You never like. Was there a situation where he bumped into you at Mastro's with some other dude or something? I'm just trying to understand where the trust thing comes.
He told me that I should like date other people because he wasn't emotionally available. So I.
Okay. Actually, this is starting to make a lot more sense, but it's not exactly what you think. Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't think. I think he was kind of looking for a way out before.
Well, then he's still like trying to like stay in my life too.
I agree with you trying to stay in your life, but like what happens is, again, you know, when I say rule number 1, we don't listen to the words, that's both for men and women, right? For men, a lot of times a girl will be like, where are you at? What are you doing? And I'm like, you know, and you respond, and then she just doesn't respond again. She just wanted your validation. Girls will send guys nudes and they're like, hey, let's meet up. And the girl doesn't meet up. That's a girl who just wants validation.
But then I started dating somebody, and then he freaked out. And
of course he freaked out because you're not validating it. But the difference is there's a big difference between the man wanting the validation. The validation is like the win. The man wanting the validation versus the man then saying, I am willing to step up and then be in a committed relationship with you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when the further away, the more likely it is from his standpoint that he's going to lose access to you or exclusive access to you, the more he's going to sound like, okay, now I'm ready for a relationship.
No,
Does that sound?
That's what he did.
Okay, so to me, that sounds more realistic of what was happening versus him legitimately being hurt because you had an OnlyFans. To me, what OnlyFans, being hurt, again, if you had told me I had several different dudes I'd filmed with on OF, I might buy the story. The reason why I'm having an issue with the story is because the idea, it seemed like he could always use this as a lever to get out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or to use against you. As long as you had, even when you turn the OnlyFans off, it was almost like inconvenient for him because then he can't use the lever to like dip. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just guessing here, but that's what it.
Well, you're probably right.
It does. It very much feels like that was kind of a situation. Like a lot of times, people in passive.
So I'm doing all this effort, and I'm like doing all this for him when he's literally like not even in it.
I mean, Kylee, do you agree with me? Do you think I'm even close?
I mean, yeah, like I have a kind of similar story.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's kind of what I need to hear then.
Yeah, I think that's probably
because it doesn't make sense.
accurate.
It doesn't make sense to me that I'm like putting all this effort and nothing makes him happy.
Right, but okay. So just think about this, right? From a man's standpoint, what a man. I got bad news for the ladies who are out there. Women, a lot of times when after they go through puberty or near puberty, you ask them what do they want to be, and they'll say fairy princess or a bride or something to the effect of like I can't wait to get married and something like that. Men don't do that. We don't grow up. We say we want to. When we grow up, we say we want to be an astronaut. We want to be a fucking doctor. We want to be a firefighter. We want to be a superhero. We don't say I want to be a groom. That is not something boys grow up to be.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
For us, marriage is something that allows us security. But the wedding is not for the man.
Yeah.
It's for the woman. I think we can all agree, right? She's the one making the decisions in the wedding. So when you have that type of situation, what a guy would want is how can I keep her close enough in an orbit where I receive validation and or sex, but not commit? And a lot of times, I'm not saying 100% this is the situation that you're going through.
He's literally saying he can't commit.
Yeah, that's exactly. But like, do you understand? You're putting in all this effort.
Yeah.
But do you understand how convenient it is? It's like you took the OF down and he still can't commit. Now, if it was a situation where it was like he would have never committed, but I'll bet you if we go through his past, like it might be a situation where he was never going to commit with anyone ever. And this just gives him a very easy excuse. You see this oftentimes with couples that are very toxic or passive aggressive, where they'll come up with things like they'll legitimately save things for later to use in order to eject from a social situation or start a fight. Or a lot of times someone in the couple will do something like, well, I can't believe you did this, and they storm out, but they stormed out because they had a date with someone else. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and they're doing that behind your back. A lot of times that'll happen and we won't know until after. There's a lot of dudes really pissed at me right now. There's a lot of future memes that are pissed at me right. Listen, I'll give the game away to both sides. So that's essentially what's going on. And I've seen guys do this and I've seen girls do this, right? Because that's what we'll do. But people will get confused. They'll be like, no, but he said all these words and he did all these things and he validated me in so many different ways. That does not imply that he wants to be in a committed monogamous relationship. That is not what that implies. What it implies is that he wants the validation. Again, if you had a brother or a cousin, a male cousin, okay, family member, and he came to you and he was saying something effective, she keeps sending me like implied nudes, but whenever I ask her to come hang out with me, she never comes to hang out with me. What would you tell your cousin? You'd be like, she
just wants attention.
She wants attention. She's bullshitting. But in his mind, he's like, no, but she keeps complying by sending me semi-nude, whatever. So that means she likes me. Does that make sense? Do you see how it's confusing? Yeah. How one thing is like words, or in this case, photos, and the other thing is an action. Remember when I had Knight and Bishop, we did the debate, and he goes, Michael, how can you teach men to figure out whether or not women are genuinely sexually attracted to you? And I was like, and I couldn't figure out the question. I was like, why are you asking me this? He goes, how do you figure out if a woman really is genuinely sexually attracted to you? And I was like, yeah, because they have sex with you. That's why they do it. But when people were like, how do you figure out if a man really wants to get married to you? He asks you to marry him. That's how you do it. It's not from reading a book on love languages. People will make the difference from their actions. It's like the analogy I used with you last night when we were talking about people who love their country. Those men who stormed Normandy Beach in 44, to me, they didn't get emotional and they weren't histrionic. They showed their love for their country by being willing to die for it. You show your love for your country through actions. Through actions. And man, the world gets so much simpler when you just remove the words and all the chaff and all the fucking distractions, and you just pay attention to people's fucking actions. Everything becomes clear. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And so now we have this language that's developed. So which of the two genders, this whole podcast is based around that book. These two genders, which of the two genders has more to lose in a pregnancy situation? The male or the female? Female. You guys understand why. Now, here's the thing. It's called the parental investment hypothesis. And I forgot, I think Professor Trivers was the one who came up with this. And the hypothesis is this, that whichever of the two genders has the larger sex cell, or whichever of the two genders has more of the parental investment, that will be the selective of the two genders, and the other gender will compete for that one. So in two gender species, like vertebrates, like dogs, cats, cows, whatever, humans, we see it in every case. It's true. And then there's certain groups of fish and seahorses where the males carry the eggs, and the females compete for the males. So this is what's called a falsifiable hypothesis that's never been falsified. Does that make sense? So that's one of the reasons why. So women are more picky than men. So because of that, women are better in general at two things: reading facial expressions and being able to suss out hierarchies in groups of men. Women are very, if I were going to say, hey, if I had a female friend, we walked into a room, one of my female friends would be like, hey, John is like, yeah, John's cheating on his wife with Sarah. It's like, Sarah's in the room. I could tell they're cheating. Women are better at that than men. They just are, right? Because evolutionarily, they needed to be. So men had to develop an adaptation to fool women's ability to do that, to garner access to more sex. What is that adaptation? Fake watch, rented Lambo, IG with weird stuff, showing off money, fake movie screens, buy the blue check mark. Do you guys understand?
Yeah.
Right? Fake Gucci belt. Or sometimes they'll actually show ostentatious displays of wealth, but they'll do that to attract a certain type of women. Where's the analogy to that? The peacock and the peahen in nature. The peahen has that big tail that all the females can see, but what does that do? If a predator comes around, it's gonna fucking catch you. You have a big fucking tail. You can't run away quickly. But what does it show? It's, you know what the tail is? Throwing money, throwing ones in the air, bitch, at the club, making it rain. Making it rain is the tail. Do you guys understand?
Yeah.
That's the analogy for Homo sapiens. That's what it is. It's the Trembolone with the huge fucking veined up muscles. It's the Lamborghini. It's the Bugatti. That's the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or in some cases, it's the super handsome, tall, blue-eyed Australian, 6'3" Australian guy who's a male stripper. Whatever. There's all these different things that happen that cause women to become attracted. And some of them are what's called actual signs, and some of them are called false signs. And the way you can tell the difference is, I forgot what the name of the professor was. Dr. Gadsad talked about this with Joe Rogan. There's certain signs that you can get, and the way that you know they're true is because of how much they cost. They're called costly signs. So those men who stormed Normandy, or men who have fought in U.S. military units together, when we get out, if I saw any of the guys from the 350th or any of the guys from the 99th Air Refueling Group, if I ever saw those guys, 19th Air Refueling Group, I would immediately trust them. Not even with a good reason, because we were in dangerous situations together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They signed up to join the U.S. military. And because they did that, that is such an expensive cost to fake that I actually trust them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So think about what are the cheap costs. Cheap costs are things like rumors. Oh, I heard so-and-so fuck so-and-so. Those are cheap. So that's why conspiracy theories, that's why a lot of times those conspiracy theories and rumors, they're made by anonymous posts because those are cheap.
Yeah.
The ones that are real are the ones where you put up your money. Does that make sense? It's like, I think Elon Musk, he wants to turn around Twitter because he thinks it was, run by liberals. So what did he do? He put $44 million into the deal. He put his money. You see how that's an expensive, costly acquisition, where the other one is the fake watch. Hey, girl, come. Dude, I knew this one guy. I shouldn't even be saying this. I'm going to get in trouble for this. This is what, do you guys know? I really shouldn't be saying this. I'm going to get in trouble for this. Listen. Do you guys know you can cancel plane tickets in 24 hours? You guys know that, right? Expedia, any place, right? This dude would go around and he'd be talking to a girl and he'd open up Expedia and he'd buy plane tickets for him and the girl to go to Saint-Tropez. Right, and then he'd do that to build comfort, sleep with the girl, and then cancel the tickets the next day. Of
course.
And the girl would see this again because that's not because in a short term.
Let me take you somewhere.
Correct. It was in the short. There's so many dudes who are so angry with me. Right, stop giving the game away, Michael. Stop it. But again, in the short term, what happens? Right, they see the costly tickets that go to Monaco. Right, they're $1,200, $1,500 in the short. And so what that does is it triggers this part in the female psyche that's supposed to read the facial expressions and try to find the cues. Again, the man who wants to be with you for a long time, do you know how you know? He's with you for a long time. The man who wants to be in a relationship with you, do you know how you know? He's in a relationship with you. The thing is, I just have so much experience with, not just with myself, but like watching my grandparents who were together for 75 years and my parents who were together for 44 years. When people want to do a thing, they do the fucking thing. They don't talk about it. And this generation, this fucking Tekashi 6ix9ine generation, they just talk about it. They don't do shit. Sorry to go on a long diatribe here.
No,
but this is like a huge... men and women would benefit so much from this because we live in a generation now where everything you can, especially with AI, you can make anything look like anything. You can make it look like you're anywhere. I was joking with a buddy of mine that I'll bet you there's an app right now. I don't even know if there's an app. Someone can test and put it in the chat. There's an app right now that can probably AI, like fucking augmented reality, put an AP watch on me. Put a Patek on me anytime I want, everywhere. Just put a Patek, a $298,000 Patek watch on me anywhere I go, and then just add it to all my photos. Does anybody say put six-pack abs? We already know there's apps that do that, right? So because there's so much fake signaling, the fake signals were created as an evolutionary adaptation for men to have more access to sex with women because they understood, whether or not men realize this, because they understood, these men understood on a short-term standpoint, that in order for me to get more access to these women, I have to convince them that I'm here for the long term or that I have access to more resources. Go ahead.
So what's your advice on somebody, and this is the same exact guy though, I'm going to tell you, that is doing all the actions but not doing any of the words. So he's showing up every time I want to hang out. He's taking me out to dinners. He's helping me out with so I got in an accident where my tire and rim got fucked up, and then he paid for it. He's having the important conversations, being my friend. We've been talking for a long time. He's not going out with other women and all that stuff, but he's just literally saying he can't commit.
He's probably telling the truth.
Okay.
Do you understand that guy?
But it's all actions, no words. So you're saying
it's actions and words. So this is also confusing for women because women are not going to spend a lot of time with a dude they don't want to commit with, but a guy would. If he is allowed to have sex, he's still
not hooking up with other women, and he
Okay, so just for sake of argument, I'm going to agree with you that he's not hooking up with other women.
Well,
you don't know that he's not hooking up with other women.
He tells me that he's not going to, and he doesn't want to. He's telling me if I'm with you, I'm only with you. But he can't commit to a relationship.
Does this sound confusing to you? I'm gonna let it to the
nobody.
Jury. Yeah, but
it's very
I'm gonna leave this one to the jury here. So Rita, does this sound normal to you?
I have left my underwear on his floor for it's been there for 5 days. I've showed up at his house
okay, so for sake of this argument, to make it go simpler, I'm going to agree with you that he's not seeing other women.
Okay.
I would say in a vacuum, I would tell you absolutely he's seeing other women and just saying whatever he fucking needs to say. But in this case, I'm just going to give it to you. Okay, let's say for sake of argument, he isn't seeing other women. The reality of the situation is he's telling you everything that's the truth. Because a man spends a bunch of time with a woman, if he's having sex with her, that doesn't mean he needs to be in a committed relationship with her.
Okay.
Women generally are not going to, at some point, I've been in, I was in my 20s once, right? I'm 45 years old. I know I'm ancient, but a long time ago, I used to be in my 20s and I would sleep with a girl for a while.
Too.
Right. I would be sleeping with a girl, and then over that time, I'd be like, hey, just let you know, I'm never going to commit. And she'd be like, fuck yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to commit either. Over time, if you're a dude and you know what I'm talking about, something always breaks. Some guys break, a lot of girls also break. Well, they'll get to the point where they thought they were fine with not being in a committed relationship, then they see the other partner with someone else, and then all of a sudden this thing that was casual, they catch feelings. They get sprung, right? The term is sprung. Mm-hmm. That's what happens. Or in the red pill community, they'll say they caught one-itis, right?
Well, that's when I tried to date elsewhere and he got mad at me.
Situation.
Of course, but because it goes back to the whole thing about validation. Yeah. If you date someone else, here's another thing. Man, I'm really gonna catch a flack for this one. So if a guy has a decision to make, and we're gonna weigh two things. Ready? The two things are this: I get to see other women, and you get to see other men, or we don't get to see. You don't get to see other women. You don't get to see other men, and I don't get to see other women. So these two things are weighed. So basically, this is monogamy and this is polyamory. Okay. The thing that weighs the most of the four items, so this is the guy gets to fuck other women, the girl gets to fuck other dudes, which is a positive, and the girl fucking other dudes is a negative. And then the monogamy, which is I get to have sex with her, but I don't get to have sex with any other women. So those are the plus and the minus there. Of the four things, the one that weighs the most is other penises going inside of his girl. Nothing. In fact, it's 100 times worse than any of the other ones. Yeah. So what men will do as an adaptation is they'll say, hey, I will be committed to you so that now you don't have sex with anyone else, which is, but he gets upset when you don't have sex with anyone else. But then when you go to work, then I'm going to call up other girls to go have sex with them.
That's what I was about to say. I feel like men have a really bad problem, a really bad problem with saying this is my girl. But what you're saying, he's not going to commit to you. So no, that's not your girl. You won't commit to her. That's not your girl. But he's going to run around and tell everybody that's my girl and get mad when his girl, that's not his girl, goes and does whatever she wants, right? And he's going to go do whatever he wants, but he's going to get so pissed when she does whatever she wants. Well, it's because she's not his girl. But he runs around oh no, that's my girl. Like, no, you haven't committed to her. Like,
Yeah, I'm
guys have a really hard problem with this. Like, they just want to like possess everything.
Right,
And now
so-
it's like, well, no. How does that work?
I'm going to say this. So this is I tell this to all the guys in Men of Action, and I'll just say this to all you guys who are watching, men out there. When you have sex with a girl who's really attractive, there is some dude somewhere who thinks he owns that. Whenever you do this, and if you do it on a regular basis, there's going to be a group of people that will start to hate you. The world is not set up for men to hook up with beautiful women, unless you're Derek Jeter, unless you're like really rich and famous. When you do that, I just want you to consider her dad, her pastor, her family, her friends. Everyone is against you. And if you do it on a regular basis, there's always a dude back home, even though she might not acknowledge him. There's always a dude back home who's like, no, that's still my girl. Every single time I've started a relationship with a girl, there's always another dude who's like, oh no, but you don't remember. That's actually mine. And like sometimes they're delusional, and sometimes she's straight up just cheating on her husband, right? But that's always the way it is because women have so many options, right? And that's one of the issues. Now, women will do the same thing where they'll be like, I have all these options. And unfortunately, this is something that happens with women who've been with a lot of men. Over time, they get to the point where it's like, well, I've lost trust for men in general. And so as a result, what'll happen is I'll have this one and keep this other one on the side, not recognizing that for women, a lot of times that ability to imprint with one man, which has what happens with oxytocin, you start to lose that over time. I know some girls who are porn stars, they do not have the ability to have an oxytocin connection with a man before because they've had sex with too many men without feelings involved. Women having the ability to fall in love with a dude when they have sex with them is a superpower. Men having the ability to have sex with people without being able to fall in love with them actually isn't a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a fucking adaptation.
Yeah.
It's an adaptation.
See,
because you guys are shaking your head like it's not a superpower, but you don't understand. It's a superpower because if you don't do that, then the kids die. Then there's no fucking children.
I think girls can fuck other men and not have any emotional ties to
of course,
it too.
I
think girls can do it too.
Right, but
like
of course,
guys have. That's another thing guys say. Like, oh, we can do it, but girls can't. Like, no, girls do it all the time. We definitely can't.
But girls can't do it at the same rate that men do, and in the end, it ends up costing them. And there's tons of studies that show that as women have more partners, their ability to stay in a relationship declines vociferously. More and more because
well, interesting. I'm not much of a casual sex type person. I like really like to be in like relationships, and I'm just so it's like hard for me to like for this and like situation like to sit there and just like have casual sex with somebody. Like if this doesn't go anywhere, like I really don't want to like stay in it and waste my time.
But he has just said he can't commit, so you kind of are there wasting your time, right?
Yeah, technically, yeah. So kind of needed this conversation.
No, but it's not that. But it's like, do you understand? Like we all say what we want to believe is true, but we don't do the things we say. I'm not just talking about you. I'm talking about me too. We all do this.
I think that like people have hope for something, and then we're also like always like dissecting things and kind of like being like, well, but he does this, I mean, he does that.
That's what I was about to say. You'll just find the good, because like I think that women, like when you really find somebody you really like we're gonna just stick by their side no matter what. And like we see every single like bad thing that's going on or every red flag, and we just keep ignoring it. We just look at the 3 green flags over the 50 red flags because we're like, oh no, we're gonna stay right here because this is who I want to be with. He'll fix it. It's going to be fine. He'll choose me eventually. And like, yeah, I mean, at some point you break or you don't, and you're just like kind of stuck in this really bad situation. But
it's a pain. We're a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I think one of the differences is that there's a massive group of men who are desperate and having no sex, like we talked about before. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And those men are so led by any attention by anyone who's even moderately attractive. And they don't even have to be moderately attractive. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched some of these other panel shows, and it's just women who are not attractive. On Access Vegas, we tend to have more attractive girls on here because we're in Vegas, and I just know a bunch of models. But on these other shows, they tend to have, like, in some cases, there's some fucking swamp creatures that go on there, and they're like, of course I would never fucking ever talk to a guy who's under 6 feet tall. Ha 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 ha, never. Ha ha, that's crazy. No, it needs to be at least 6'3". How much do she has 4 baby daddies, and she's sitting there like, well, he needs to at least make $280,000 a year to take care of me and my kids. Mm-hmm. And we're just sitting there like, I know that you think that's cool. And there's also a subset of people in the media who's actually encouraging this behavior, but the math doesn't work on that. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're going to end up really fucking frustrated. You guys know I'm really close with CJ. CJ's 38 and wants a dude who makes $5 million a year, and she's on OF. And I'm not trying to say this to chastise her, but she's still. But the thing is, like, I tell CJ, do you understand that these are somewhat unrealistic expectations? She goes, yes, I'm fully aware they're unrealistic. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, as long as you're aware. At least CJ's aware. Other girls are not. They literally think that like that these men just roll around like, and not to call you out, but
no.
you kind of did that last
and
night.
I have like the expectations, but I'm also like, if I meet like a good guy that doesn't meet like one of my requirements, like I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I definitely like would want somebody who at least like is successful in a way, like he doesn't have to make a certain like number of like bank account. Like I don't sit there and ask a guy like, so how much money do you make?
Yeah.
That's not something I do. And I'm not going to sit there and be like, wow, like I met this really great guy, but he's only 5'11", so I'm not going to see him again. Like that's not.
Have you ever met a woman
do.
who is like that? Especially when it comes to the money thing.
Yeah, and especially last night.
Let's say last night.
Last night. And yeah, I mean, being around in Newport, this is like a thing, like women are like really about the money. I stayed out of Newport for a long time because it's a wild place there. But now that I'm more like career focused, I go there, but I don't really like, I'm not really like out there for dating or anything because it's kind of like crazy out there with like the money and like stuff like that. And like the dating game out there is just insane.
Let's get into that. So you mentioned before there's a lot of wealth where you live in Newport Beach.
There is.
Have you seen Selling OC, the TV show on Netflix?
I haven't, but I've heard of.
Okay, so Alexandra Rose was sitting where you actually were. I think she's sitting where you are, and I interviewed her, and it was really interesting listening to her because she's dating a famous. I'm not going to say who because she didn't want to say it, but person, a pretty famous person, and she was explaining to me like the difficulties of dating in that location, but like all she cared about was the money. And as a real estate agent, if you make it in Orange County, you can get the commissions on some of those $4 million houses. They stack up really quick.
That's the best place to be
for sure.
In LA, to be a realtor for sure.
Okay, so let's talk about the supply and demand issue there. So now you have a bunch. I've heard women say this. Amanda Nicole, who was supposed to come on last night, but she had an issue. She said that she prefers dating men in Las Vegas than Los Angeles because the men in Las Vegas are poor. And it's true.
Okay.
The dudes here, because the reality situation is the dudes here are like insanely good looking, making $40K a year working as a host at some club while they're stripping
probably a lot more humble and probably a little bit more like faithful.
Maybe, but they're also insanely good looking, so maybe not as faithful. You know what I'm saying? Like it just depends. I mean, just what I'm saying is they're the thing they have going for them is a different thing. What she was saying is that when she was in Los Angeles, she had a difficult time meeting guys because once a guy has like $100 million, like he just doesn't put up with anything. Like he literally has no patience for anything.
Like sugar babies and
go into that,
and hookers and stuff like that.
Is that big in Orange County?
Yeah, it's like pretty normal. Like I was out one night and some girl was talking to me and the guy I was dating, he saw me talking to her and he was like, "Please don't accept her offer." And I was like, "What offer?" And I was just like really confused because she didn't offer it to me, but he was like, for hooking. And I was like, what? And then he was like, yeah, she's known for that. And I was just like,
so there was a madam in some restaurant?
Yeah. And I had no idea. And I guess like it's just so like normal there. Like it's just not even a thing. I'm just like, I just think it's just so crazy that it's just so like normal there. And like sugar babies is normal. I recently was offered to be like somebody's sugar baby, and I just told them, I was like, I'm just not that kind of girl, but I appreciate the compliment, I guess. I don't know. But it's so normal. I know multiple people who are sugar babies and go out with men for that purpose and stuff. And it is out there like it's nothing. And so everywhere you go, you know, people like guys talk to me all the time that are a lot older with a lot of money, and they try to like flaunt their stuff and think that like I'm probably just like all the other girls, like it's normal, but I'm not really out there for that. So just kind of have to make that clear to them. But yeah, and like I guess at Mastro's, and I know this isn't like just there.
Shout out to Mastro's in Newport Beach, man. I love the fuck out of that place. Just full of cougars and fucking dudes, Lamborghinis, and the one in Malibu. If your girl goes to the Mastro's in Malibu, she's for the streets. Go ahead.
But I guess that there's hookers there that if they're there by themselves with a glass of champagne,
that means they're up for sale.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a very interesting, like, my friend was telling me that.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, my friend was telling me that, and I was like, what? Like, that's so insane. They're like, yeah, go there and check them out, and a guy will go sit with them, and they'll literally, like, buy their meal, buy their drinks for the night, and take them home.
It's crazy. So I grew up in East Dallas, and if a dude was walking around in the neighborhood with a white T-shirt on, that means he had crack. He had dope on him.
Isn't that so
And it's the
nice?
same. It's the same kind of thing. That's what that white T-shirt. That's what that whole. I'm out in my white tee. That's what white tee comes from.
Okay.
Those are bangers. Those guys slinging rocks. And so, and maybe it's not like the same way in every hood, but in East Dallas it was like that, or South Dallas it was like that.
All right.
And then so this is the same kind of thing. It's like the hookers are letting you know the green light is on. It's like when you go to the fucking Brazilian barbecue place and you flip the card over to green, so they just keep bringing you meat. It's like that. So you have the little champagne flute, and that lets them know that they're up for it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man. Now here's the issue, right? Let's just say you don't want to participate in the escort sugar baby game.
Yeah.
Period. The problem is you're still in the same market with them, and so they will change the dynamic of the supply and demand curve. Good guy, makes a bunch of money. He's stressed out. He dates a girl who makes his life stressful. So now his options are: do I stay in the stressful relationship, or do I get sex from this sugar baby who gives me no stress? You know what I'm saying? And let's just say of 10 guys, the first 5 say no, the first 7 say no, and then the next 3 say yes. Then what that does is it pushes the supply curve down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like the more the sugar babies win, then the fewer men that are out there that'll accept things that aren't sugar baby-ish. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The transactional nature of it, which then makes your supply or your demand lower and your supply lower. Does that make sense?
Well, and it also changes the outlook for these guys out in Newport. Like, so for instance, since I'm out there and I like to dress like kind of like bougie and stuff, guys automatically assume that I'm like those girls out there, and they don't give me the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, I mean, if I walked out, like if you two were walking out with me in a club or in any casino here, you guys, the two of you would get carded in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you both look like you're from Vegas. You're both in shape with fake boobs. Like they're going to card you. That's
Yeah.
it. There's nothing that you're doing anything wrong. It's just that
What is?
they're gonna check for your ID, and if they think you're a prostitute, they're gonna 86 you from the property. Girls don't get 86 because they look like prostitutes. They get 86 because they look attractive and they're walking by themselves in a club in a casino at night. That's how you end up getting 86.
Just because we're hot. And
I get asked if I'm like a porn star all the time, so like I'm in deep shit.
Right, but like the problem
This
is
is gonna
the
be a
problem.
problem.
It isn't because you're acting slutty. It's because you look attractive. Like that's the thing. Now, what the guys will say, well, yeah, she looks attractive, but she's wearing high heels and she's showing off her boobs, therefore she's looking slutty. And I'm like, no. Generally, when they're just by themselves. Now, if you guys are walking with me or any other dude, no one's going to say anything to you. It's just not. Generally not gonna
people
happen.
assume things all the time just because you're like a really attractive.
Right. Yep. That's what
Another
I'm
one of my favorite studies is this one. There's 2 studies. One of them was at Safeway. There was the Safeway executive team or whatever. They basically stated the cashiers at Safeway need to say, thank you, Mr. Smith, whenever they use their credit card. They read the credit card and say, thank you, Mr. Smith, for shopping at Safeway, or thank you, Mrs. Smith, for shopping at Safeway. So when male cashiers said that to male customers, no problem. When male cashiers said that to female customers, no problem. When female cashiers said that to female customers, no problem. When female cashiers said to male customers, thank you, Mr. Smith, for shopping at Safeway, the motherfuckers would follow them out to the parking lot. They'd be sitting there stalking them. They'd be showing up to work at random times because men mistake anything, especially desperate men, will mistake anything for a sign, a cue for sexual activity, right? Okay. Sexual access. And the reason why is because during the Pleistocene epoch, during man's prehistoric past, whenever a man mistook an opportunity for sex, he would shoot a shot. Like you guys see the Indian guy who hit you up in your DMs. I want to see Bob's in Vagine, that guy. He's shooting his shot because if he's wrong, it doesn't really cost him anything.
Yeah.
Although now it does, because like Me Too movement or stuff like that. But whereas with a woman, it's going to be the opposite. She's going to assume every dude's a douchebag unless he proves otherwise, right? And so that's why it's different. The second one, I love this study. They show a woman, she is studying next to a man. It's in a photograph, right? This is a college survey. The man and woman are studying. The man is specifically sitting there looking at a piece of paper, and the woman is looking at the piece of paper, and they're sort of faced in towards each other. They have neutral expressions on their face, okay? And they ask men and women, do you think this woman is sexually interested in this man? And what do you think the results were between men and women? What do you think the women said and what do you think the men said?
Women said no, men said yeah.
So as a percentage, women about like 17% said yes, but the vast majority said no. And for men, it was something like 80 or 90% said yes, that she was interested.
Because she was face towards him.
Okay, no. Actually, I'll tell you this. Then they took the same photo, but they made the woman more physically attractive. So she was showing cleavage, right? And she was just more physically. The girl just had a more symmetrical face, right? Had makeup on, and then they asked the same question. It was like 96% of men thought that she was sexually attracted to him. Men do not. You don't. It's not that you do anything to cause them to be attracted to you. You just being attractive makes them misinterpret everything you do for, would you like some dick? Would you like some dick? Like what Chris Rock said, he opened the door, would you like some dick? Hey, here's some water, would you like some dick? Like that's essentially what's going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So I love that study because the more attractive the woman was, the more men would misinterpret her breathing, her fucking looking at his direction for any reason as an open invitation for sex. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we have the buddy
believe it.
system at Twin Peaks. I used to work at Twin Peaks, and there's like a buddy system, like literally walking into work and walking out of work because of all the women that would get like stalked and followed and
I
crazy
believe
stuff.
it. Well, and even just like if you have a conversation and if you smile, if you're nice, like they automatically
then they think
like,
that
you want to have sex
that's
with them.
it.
That's exactly. I mean, that's the point. Like dudes, like they're literal dudes out there. Like I try to explain this. There are literal dudes out there who think you're acting slutty and they have every right to behave the way they do, or they say something to the effect of, she wouldn't have worn that dress if she wasn't trying to get laid. That kind of stuff, like
I hate
that
when
kind of like
people say
1950s.
that.
Like, of course she wore that dress. Of course she wanted to get raped. Like that kind of like that mentality. That's mentality that you'd see in literally. You would see court findings like this in the 1950s and the 1940s, just madness like this. And then when you actually see that these dudes are just fucking creepy and uncalibrated, which is why I try to help men in my program to become more calibrated, to be around more women, then you come to the realization it's like I understand that she's attractive to you, which causes you, like an internal urge for you, but like you not being able to control it not only gets you in trouble, but it's also unattractive to women.
Yeah,
women
absolutely.
would like a guy with some intent but a lot of status who can control himself.
The most attractive thing for a guy to do is just be normal and have a normal conversation. It's always creepy when guys are like over the top or like even coming in with like the one-liners. It's annoying. It's just really nice when somebody has like a normal conversation and treats you like a normal human being.
Well, it's almost like treat them all the same, make them talk about themselves.
Yeah.
Treat them all the same, make them talk about themselves, which is like one of the mantras in Men of Action.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let me ask you something. The networking, you've mentioned networking several times, like using this whole thing as far as networking is concerned and the opportunities. Can you go into that? Like, how has that been helpful for you?
Oh, geez. Networking is just my favorite thing to do. Just meeting people and talking to them, asking what they do. How has it helped me? It's helped me with getting my models like jobs in Sleek. So like recently I met somebody who owns a yacht who is going to be hiring models for events. I have a meeting this Sunday with somebody who owns a body like oil company. They need models for events. And I just met him at one of the restaurants, which is A in Newport. And
you did not have champagne, obviously. So I'm just kidding. So he was confused.
Didn't have champagne.
I'd be afraid. I want to go there and just have champagne out and just see what happens.
Oh, yes, yeah. See if anybody takes you home.
Some cougar comes up to me and goes, "Hey, Big Daddy."
Do it.
I was like, "Hey, Hilga. I'm not really sure.
Hilga.
I'm not down for this."
But it's simply just going out and meeting people and asking like, what do you do? And it's just been like lined up to where I am just meeting these people and business, all these business opportunities. So also meeting Daniel, he's a DJ and he runs Gadsby. I met him at A as well. And now I'm going to be the lead girl for Gadsby. They have the membership club in
So Gadsby
Newport.
is a members-only club in Newport.
Yes.
Okay.
And they have a bunch of models, and the guys come and they pay for a membership, and they go to all these events, and they bring all these models. We do mansion shoots. And they have the mansion shoot. So the models come in first. And so Sleek has paired up with them through me, and Art has also been involved with that pairing as well. And then after we do some of the shoots, the members are allowed to come in and we have an after party.
Wow. Okay. Wait a second. I didn't know about this. So you do mansion shoots that are followed by an after party. So the girls who do the photo shoots, they're like required to then stay after when the after party starts?
It's not a requirement, but most of the girls like to. These guys are well off as well, so they like to like meet up with these guys. Plus, there's alcohol, there's food, and you're partying at a mansion. It's fun. It's very.
And this is in Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
And who sets this up? The Gatsby is the club that does it. So Gatsby's not a location. It's almost like just a members only group.
Yeah, and so Daniel has brought me in. Now we've been talking about making me the lead girl. I'll be not only we already partnered with Sleek with them, but not only will I just be the creative director and partnering with them, now I'll be the lead girl, which will all be hosting a lot of these things and events.
So let me ask this. In a networking environment, have you ever been in a situation where you found yourself attracted to someone that you weren't expecting, you weren't looking for it, and then you're like, wow, this person's extremely interesting or good looking or anything like that? Does that ever happen?
I am very, very, very picky.
Okay.
So I'm not really, and actually, that's one thing that Daniel really liked about me is that I am not somebody out there who's like going after people.
For sure.
So he brought me in for like my poise and the fact that like a lot of these girls are really kind of going after guys.
For their wealth.
Yeah, but you know, they're kind of out there partying,
Yeah.
they're dancing, they're drinking, they're partying. That's what they're doing. So he wants me to be able to help keep these girls safe. Really like read energies. If anybody's off, you know, like, hey, like that guy's, you know, kind of off. Let's keep an eye on him.
Okay, no, that thing you just said was exactly what I was saying before about women being able to read rooms better than men.
Yeah.
I hear this, and the way women describe it is not scientific or accurate, but I do understand what they're saying. You can just like a hunter who can just sort of like tell, okay, there's game here somewhere. What's happening is he can smell stuff that he's used to, or he's been in this situation so many times before.
Yeah.
Women, I used to work with a guy named Mystery, Eric Von Markovic, a long time ago, and this guy was a dating coach, a real famous dating coach. He had a show on VH1, and he used to tell me, he was like, let's do a mathematical composition. It's like, let's take a look at how many times an attractive woman has been approached from the time she goes through puberty to the time she's 21, and it's ended up being like 22,000 times that a woman had been approached. Okay, now let's look at a normal dude, like again, everyone, your teacher, like just normal. And so women don't have approach anxiety. And then now let's look at for men, an average dude from the time he's 14 to the time he's 21, how many times has he been approached? And it's like 6.
Oh my God.
And then you wonder why dudes are like, blah, blah, blah. That's why. That's why, because women are more, again, like if I was like, hey, I need you to go up to that dude and talk to him, whatever, there's no approach anxiety. I mean, maybe if it was like fucking Brad Pitt, but like for the most part, do you have approach anxiety walking up to a guy?
I might.
Really?
I'm a little nervous. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, it's just like the initiation like part of doing
I'll bet
it.
you when you cold approach most people, you don't get many negative responses.
I mean, not like the response that I'm afraid of. I think it's just like the initiation, like of doing it. Like, how do you do it? Like, hey, like, what do you do?
I like fist bump is usually, what up, bro, is usually my way to do it. Yeah, that's usually the way I do it. Yeah.
I don't know.
So in those situations, you don't generally find anyone that you find attractive.
You know, I just like, I don't know. It's really hard to impress me. I'm really like not, I don't know. I've only been super attracted to like a handful of people in my lifetime. I don't know. So yeah. And then when I go out, like I said, like it's really like networking and stuff for me. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm a different breed, if there's other people that are like that. I don't know. It's not really what
you're just picky. And I mean, yeah, that's it. I mean, one of the two genders has to be picky. If women weren't picky, we'd all be living in caves and have HIV. Like seriously, we'd all be dead.
And don't get me wrong,
there'd be no civilization at all.
Yeah, like I do find like guys attractive and everything. But yeah, I just picky and so.
Okay, do you understand why we gave you a hard time yesterday when you said you wanted a guy between 6'3" and 6'5" who made $300,000 a year?
Yeah, I mean that'd be nice, but I like I said, I'd make exceptions.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would just truly love a best friend, but I'm also happy by myself.
Sure.
And I'm actually really happy that I've gotten to be to that point, because for a long time I wasn't, and I went through a self-healing like journey, and that was all like recent, especially after my divorce. I've been through a lot in my life. And I have my 2 boys, and now my main focus is just building myself for my boys. And if somebody comes in my life to complement that, that would be great.
All right, so let's talk about this. You, how old were you when you had your kids, if you don't mind?
I was 28.
Okay, you're the twins.
Yeah.
Do you ever want to have any more kids?
I always feel like there's a little girl missing in my life.
Okay.
But I would have to have them soon, because I'm getting up there.
And your boys in the situation with that, you got to split custody?
Yeah, so it's split custody right now. They'll be in kindergarten here next year, and they'll be in my primary care. And then their dad will have them every first, second, and fourth weekend. And then during the summer, we'll go back to every week.
Does your family or his family have an issue with you, anything that you do? Has there ever been any complaints about that?
So I'm not really sure if his family is like super aware of everything. They have never really said anything. And my family definitely loves to make comments on it.
Really?
Yeah. And my mom, she always gets like the backlashes of it, and she loves to tell me that she loves me no matter what, but that she definitely like thinks I'd like, especially when I was doing nudity and stuff, that she thinks that I should do better than that. And then I have an aunt who I'm really close with. Her name is Lola, and she just like empowers me, and she says, fuck what everybody says, like do whatever you want. And she's been like a huge supporter, but she's been a huge supporter through my whole entire life. Like as much as I've known her, like she thinks that you live one life, and that you should go through your process of your life the way that you do. But the people who have judged me are also the people who haven't talked to me in a long time.
Okay. Makes it easier, right? It's almost like YouTube commenters.
Well, and it was funny.
Twitter commenters.
It was funny because like these people, I accidentally posted on my Facebook like a picture of me, and it wasn't even a bad picture of like really bad. It was just like my rear end, and I was in a thong. And they asked my mom, like, is Sam okay? And I wrote on my Facebook that said, anybody who's asking my mom if I'm okay, has seen my posts on Facebook, easily can message me and ask me if I'm okay.
Right.
Like, don't cause drama.
Yeah, passive aggressive.
Yeah, you're asking my mom, and like, you can message me here.
Kylee, have you had a situation? Because it's very different from doing pageant work from doing like bikini modeling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have?
Yeah, what like with people complaining about it?
Anyone, friends or family?
Yeah, for sure. I get it all the time, every day. I get it for that. I get it for I get it for a lot of things.
Just life in general.
Just life. Yeah. I get it all the time.
The thing we were talking about before, so the guy didn't ask you to give up your social media. You just gave it up on your own. Was that it? Was it your OF, or was it your Instagram also?
Well, I did OF, but like with my ex Rob, that I was with after my divorce, I gave up an Instagram for him. He was just uncomfortable with like the comments and everything. So
What kind of comments? Pro or anti?
The guys who would like hit on me and say stuff like that. And to me, it was like, well, what means more to me? And to me, Rob meant more to me than my Instagram. So, but I also wasn't making an income off of that.
Yeah.
I think that there's a way that you can adjust things on your Instagram when you're in a relationship. I believe that there's boundaries, and I believe that relationships are about sacrifice.
Yeah.
So I believe that you don't have to necessarily get rid of it, but you can also adjust things that are appropriate. That's just what relationships are. And if I know that some girls said that like, well, he's just not the right one, but if you want to make yourself marriage material, and if you want to be the right one for him, that you should make those sacrifices.
Okay, so that's great. I mean, you kind of perfect segue to what I was going to get to first, and what we talked about yesterday on Access Vegas, which was the concept of like, you do understand the consequences for either way, right? Yeah. Everyone has the right. Yesterday I said, it's in the U.S. Constitution. It is not. It is in the Declaration of Independence that we are endowed by our Creator with inalienable rights those of which being life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
So we have the liberty to do whatever we want that makes us happy. And if in the short term, what makes us happy is, getting the bag and being on IG and showing off all this kind of stuff, that's fine. But in the long term, we may have to pay the consequences because other people also have the pursuit of their happiness.
Yeah.
And
they have a right to not be with somebody like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that when you're in a relationship, because I had an ex tell me, which actually is my ex-husband, he told me in the very beginning, like, why would I change things just because I'm in a relationship? And I told him, why wouldn't you change things because you're in a relationship? You absolutely should
Men
change
don't
things.
know. I know.
Well, but when I said that, he was
men
like,
are not good at that.
But when I said that, it really like triggered a thought process in his head. He's like, oh wait, I probably should. I should make adjustments.
Yeah.
And you should. That's what relationships are. You're no longer just yourself. You're with a partner now. You make sacrifices. And if you would want them to do things and sacrifice things to make you happy, you should do the same. And those sacrifices are literally deleting a picture off of Instagram. Come on, really? Like, what's
really more important, the picture?
Like
the picture's more important right now?
Yeah, that's really
crazy.
immature. Like that, you're really worried about your likes over like.
For sure.
If you really care about somebody, then you would adjust some things. You don't have to necessarily delete your Instagram or anything. You can talk about a fair median, because that's what you should be doing. You should be talking about what makes him happy, what makes you happy, and come somewhere in the middle that your guys are going to agree on to make your relationship work.
For sure. That's the situation you talk about with your boys, and then also with like giving up the Instagram. Is there other things that you want to pursue besides just doing the creative director stuff? You said you're also going to work. You're going to work at Gatsby. Was there anything else?
So I mean, in the long run,
You mentioned a podcast to me before.
Yeah. So in the long run, some goals of mine, I would love to own my own fashion line and perfume line. I would love to run my own podcast, and working with women with self-health and mental health and self-love. And I would love to, in the really long run, have a charity for women, whether it's for like domestic abuse or along those lines. So I do have like some long-term goals, and just like women empowerment is just something that really like resonates with me.
I asked this to a lot of my guests. The last, say, 5 guys that you found attractive that you went on a date with, where did you meet them? Was it on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge? Was it on Instagram? Was it on a dating website? Was it in person? Did a friend introduce you?
So I have only had Hinge for about 72 hours of my life.
Okay.
And I've actually went on 2 dates on Hinge. One was in 2020 and one was actually like 4 months ago. And so I did go on one recently on Hinge.
Do tell. They were incredible, right?
He was actually he's actually really like nice and kind, and he's still my friend. And we went on dates recently. I just don't think we haven't like gone on a date in the last few weeks or anything. I think we just kind of like drifted apart a little bit.
And this is the dude that the other guy was jealous of?
Yes.
Okay, I'm starting to put it all together here.
Yeah, so he was jealous of him, but he was very mature and well off. He did very well for himself. He's an influencer as well. I have no complaints about him. I just don't think that we had a connection. And then plus I was going through things on my own as well. So I did meet him on Hinge. I met the other guy organically. I was at A with one of my good friends, and he was like, this guy you have to meet. I really want you to meet him. And randomly he ends up walking in that night that we were out, and he was like, there he is, I have to go get him. And he ran over and got him, and he sat down, and we just hit it off. Like,
your guy was trying to introduce you to another guy? A guy was trying to introduce you to another guy?
Well, he's an older gentleman that I did business with, and he just became like a good friend with, we're not friends anymore because he stabbed me in the back. But But actually that guy is actually from Arkansas. So another like when we met, we're like, oh my gosh, you're from Arkansas. Like my family's from Arkansas, and it was just like a fun. We hit it off really well. And then Rob, my ex Rob, we met through friends. My friend was his roommate, and
was it a guy or a girlfriend?
It was a girlfriend.
Okay.
Haven.
So a girl introduced you to the guy that you ended up dating.
Yeah.
Interesting. Crazy. I've never heard that before.
Well,
as I look ironically into the camera for the 75th time, explaining the same thing.
And then, now like another 3 years ago was the other Hinge date. He's still my friend today. Just really funny. That's so long ago. And then I met some guy on Instagram, and I flew to Utah to go talk to him. I know I'm making all kinds of...
Keep going. Go. No. Keep going.
That was a long time ago too.
So what happened?
With him, he ended up still having ties with his ex, and she ended up...
Of course, that's why he's on Hinge. Duh.
No, he wasn't on Hinge.
Oh,
No.
I'm messing with you.
He was on Instagram, and we ended up having the time of our life, but his ex texted him like a week before I flew out, and he was like, look, I have to be honest, my ex ended up texting me, and I still have feelings for her, and I had a really great time with you this weekend. And I was like, you should have told me, like,
right.
You should have told me, like, he's like, I didn't want, like, you to cancel your trip. And I was like, I felt terrible. I was like, dude, you could have been honest with me. Like, I am totally cool with that. Like, I understand, like, people have past people, we all have our own life. But, it was a great time, and I actually met some really good friends when I was out there, and that I still keep in touch with today, and I still go visit today
in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Any other crazy stories? I love these. I love the stories where the girl goes across the country to go see those. I love these stories.
Oh, it was a lot of fun, though. I had a great time, and I do still go out there, and that's actually like when I went hunting out there with some of his friends, and then I've gone horseback riding out in the mountains of Utah. Like, I love Utah. It's so beautiful out there, and I've had really good experiences out there. I went and saw Morgan Wallen out there. Like, it's just been a lot of fun. So, but I mean, I am kind of one of those spontaneous people. And that was literally right after my divorce. So it was kind of like one of those things that's like,
got it. Okay.
And just go.
Just get out there.
And he was really attractive. So I was like, okay, bye guys. But yeah, so I think I haven't talked to many other guys since then, because I was like right after my divorce.
Got it. Yeah.
So yeah, those are my most recent.
Yeah. Kylee, have you ever stabbed anyone?
I've never stabbed anybody.
Would you sliced at them before?
Yeah.
Is that like a mating ritual in Arkansas?
No, it's
like
not
each other?
a mating ritual.
What happens?
What do you mean, mating rituals? We don't have any of those.
Like you've mentioned before, like just one of the unique things.
Slash not stab.
Yeah, slash not stab. How does that work?
Knife fights. There's a lot of knife fights.
So there's lots of knife fights in Arkansas. Yeah. It's a very different dating scene than the one she's describing. Somebody fucked a goat, and then there's also slashing and stabbing.
It's just very violent out there.
Is it in southwestern Arkansas?
Very aggressive.
So the rule is what?
Slash, not stab.
So what happens if you stab? Like, how does that? Where did that rule come from?
You're gonna get beat up. Like if you stab somebody, you're probably gonna die.
Yeah.
Not literally, but you're like the whole gang's coming after you, and like you're getting really badly hurt, like in ICU, like sipping soup through a straw. Like there's gonna be problems for sure. But.
That's amazing. I gotta get Jamie Villamore to interview you. She carries like 3 knives on her at all times.
I always have a knife on me. I always have a knife in my car. I always carry a knife and knuckles and usually a gun.
Yeah. Arkansas sounds like a fun place. Yeah. Arkansas sounds like a fun place, much like Fallujah.
Fallujah. It's so much fun. Yeah, it's great.
That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, so now from this point, now you're not seeing anyone exclusively. You still have the guy that you were on and off with.
I just touched base with him like a couple of days ago. But I'm not really seeing him. I'm not seeing anybody. Just really career focused.
Nice. And then from your career specifically, is there something, do you guys have, do you release the magazine quarterly? Is it online? Like what kind of work do you do like day to day?
So right now it's quarterly. It's online and it's printed. And right now I'm out here, so I'm missing the mansion shoot this month. But we do a lot of content days. We do events, and we do the mansion shoots every month. We are working on more events and expanding. And then I have like the meetings to do like more partnerships.
Yeah.
And we're working on like investors and stuff. We just really started, the magazine started a year ago. We're actually working on now, we're printing monthly.
Okay.
And everything is starting to really like expand fast. We're going to be going to the Teddy Ball and hopefully partnering up for the Teddy Ball. So don't want to drop too much there. But that's something we're also looking into. We just really want to get more involved. And I really, really loved the Bunny Ball. And I was like, this is where we need to be. Just like you said, like there's just amazing people there.
You should. So all of us from Babes in Toyland, we go to the Bunny Ball.
Yeah.
And then Nino brings his whole crew from San Diego up to Los Angeles for Babes in Toyland.
Yeah.
So Babes in Toyland in March is for Animal Rescue. Babes in Toyland in June is for, or July is for the troops overseas. Babes in Toyland in December is for underprivileged children. We children in a homeless shelter. We collect toys for them.
Yeah.
Babes in Toyland in Miami, which is May 20th, is going to be for animal rescue, and then we do one in Los Angeles for domestic abuse.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's just influencers coming together. It's not quite like the Bunny Ball, which is fun. Babes in Toyland is like you walk the carpet and it's like it's like bigger models that come and do that.
Okay.
And help raise money for charity. But it's like the Bunny Ball is sort of an analogy to, it's kind of like a sister event to what we do.
Okay. Well, we would love to be there
for
too.
For sure. And then the teatro events, I don't want to forget those, is Barry Bly's events. And so they have the Maxim parties, and then they also do the ESPY parties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And those are also red carpet events that are a little bit more kind of like when Karma stopped throwing events, there was a void, and teatro sort of filled that void. Oh, the Playboy Mansion parties too. Teatro sort of filled the void from those things.
Yeah. These are all things that we want to put in our magazine too, especially the like for a cause, you know, these are all things that we want to represent. And be a part of. So, being in those things is definitely like a goal for us too. But we're getting our hands in all kinds of things now, and just networking in those things too, and meeting people and just getting our name out there is like the main goal this year, and just creating a real image. And the more people we know and the more people we're getting tied with is just creating more opportunities. In
business, you did mention that some dude stabbed you in the back. What happened?
So I met this guy. He's older, and he had me kind of be like an escort. So an escort is not a prostitute. I know some people like.
Just so let me go ahead and clear this up. Okay, so in the state of Nevada and in California, there is an actual legal term called an escort, which is not prostitution.
It's not just in these two
right.
places.
Yeah,
they have them like in Houston.
Correct. So the idea is like you have to have a certain license for it or whatever. What's happened though is because so many escorts do end up doing prostitution, the two words have become synonymous, like coke and pop, just kind of like that kind of thing. Or meat. Like in Texas, when you say meat, you mean red meat. You don't mean chicken. It's like the words have become conflated. So that's what you're saying. Like you can actually go to places with people that you're escorting them. Go ahead.
So he was looking for investors, and he would bring me in to reel in the investors. So I'd be the pretty girl that would reel these investors.
So you're you probably would get him more access to these investors too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how I met him. And he was the one who ended up telling the guy I was dating about this other guy that I went on a date with, which I wasn't ready to tell him about.
The guy from Hinge?
Yeah.
This is so incredible. I've put all three pieces together.
So he ended up telling him about him and showing him like all our personal texts, which was really weird because we were really close friends, and he was telling me like not to talk to the guy I was like in love with anymore because he was like, he's not giving you like a relationship and a
And
commitment.
then he snitched on you anyway?
Yeah.
What the? He snitched on you?
And I was literally talking to him like the day before because he was in a hospital because he had a bacterial infection in his face. And I was literally calling him like, do you need anything? Like, I'll be there for you, like all this stuff. And then he goes and he snitches on me. And then he tries to make up lies about me saying like all this terrible stuff. And I'm not even going to repeat it because I don't even want like anything to be false about me. But he's saying all this horrible shit about me. And I'm like, I cannot believe this. And I literally called him out and I went off on him, telling him he's just a fake and a fraud and a fake friend. Like, how dare him? Like, I've always had his back. I know a lot of secrets about him. He's not like the greatest person. And I also know like, because he puts off a fake persona because he doesn't want people to know like what he actually owns because he's like a millionaire, billionaire, whatever he is. And he doesn't want people to know all this stuff about him. So I, with being his escort for certain investments, know his secrets. So I was like, I kept all your secrets for you, like, and other secrets on top of that, like this dirty stuff that you would do. And I still won't even say all these things about you, even after that. But screw you, like, for doing that to me. Like, you had no right. It was going to be my choice when I told him, like, that I was like either
seeing someone else, not getting snitched on. Yeah, done like dating him because I decided like this connection with this other person was like going well. But yeah, so he screwed me over. He stabbed me in the back. Kylee, would he get slashed or stabbed?
That would probably be a stab. Yeah.
Do you have any questions for our guest here?
No.
See, all the communication, the subtle communication that's going on with two, I cannot decipher it because I'm just.
Hey, where'd you get your top?
Forever 21.
Where'd you get that?
Your closet.
Nice. Okay, yeah, that top actually looks better than mine, I think.
Yeah, I have the same one at home. I should have worn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been twinsies.
Would have been great. Twinsies.
We can twin tonight.
Okay, let me ask you a couple questions. Why do women that are friends want to match when they go out, and why do they all go to the bathroom together?
Because when we go out, when we are like walking into a place, it's like a power strike. Like we're all wearing the same colors. So now it's like, okay, our group's better than whatever, like any other girl group that is in here. Our group looks way better. It's a whole thing. It's eye catching, right?
We're twinning.
Everybody's going to want to come be around us.
And we go to the bathroom together because like then we can talk like about stuff that we couldn't talk about before. And like then we can also be like, okay, does everything look okay? Mm-hmm. Like, okay, yeah.
I think we just like to talk. Like we just talk all the time. Like why we just I don't want to go to the bathroom and like talk to myself.
We can laugh.
Like
about
I want somebody to sit there and talk to me while I pee.
We can be weird together too. Like let out the weirdness.
Yeah, and then go back to the normal. Like
okay, we're cool again.
Okay, we're great. I don't know, it's safer too. Like I've experienced like going to the bathroom by myself. Like I was literally at a family, like a family dinner. It was like a family friend dinner. And literally one of my friends goes to the bathroom by herself. As she's going to the bathroom, literally gets grabbed by this guy walking past the bar. Oh. It turns into a whole thing. Like there's a whole bar fight breaks out between like her dad and this guy. And like, it was insane. So like, this is why we just like if you're gonna go in a group, it's probably gonna be better just in case something happens.
You know,
you never know.
All of the above.
Yeah, I also notice like women do things to stir up dudes that they're not attracted to. I do remember you two last night when remember the light was on and you were like, okay, we're ready for the video. Ready, and the guys are then you do, but the problem is you do that and then I'm the one who having to handle it because the guys won't leave you alone the whole night.
No, that's right. But it's just because it's for like shits and giggles for us because like these men just really play it. Like they really are like, oh my God, they said something to me. They think I'm cute. They must like me.
We were like, just kidding.
Let's annoy them all night. I maybe I have a chance. And like, it doesn't even matter. You could literally insult them all night. And they're like, yes, she loves me. Like, no, I'm literally insulting you all this whole night. Like, I'm doing nothing but insulting you. And you think I like you. Oh, God. Like, yeah, that's why we're just going to keep stirring shit up. Because now it's just funny. Like, yeah. And they'll just like fall. They'll just start like kissing your feet. And I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Oh my God.
That's right. And like they're just like, what is up with that? Why do guys do this?
Well, I tell you what's really funny is my situation, because I'll be like at a table with a bunch of girls, and then they'll do something like that, and then the same girls who instigated the guys come to me and be like, "Get rid of these guys."
Yeah. Oh, I do that. I do that 100%.
And I'm like, wait a second, why did you do this in the first place?
I do it 100%. I start like shit all the time, and then I'll just take off like, "Hey, will you?
Kylie gets
Can
off
you
on
please
it.
fix this?" They won't leave me alone. Well, yeah, probably. And then like literally, it's like, "Oh, well, it's because you were talking to them." I'm like, "Yeah, but now I'm done annoying them. So can you get them away from me?" Like, oh my God. Yeah, that's kind of problematic. We should probably work on that. It's fine. It's entertainment.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's entertainment.
It's fine. It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
It's okay.
It's really not.
It's fine.
Like, they'll remember that moment forever. You know?
I'm done. Kylie gets off on it.
Okay, let me
That's
ask
our
you
entertainment for
guys.
the
So
night.
what
Yeah,
would
that's
be
it.
what would be good etiquette for a guy in a social situation? So let's just say convention, nightclub, whatever, to come up and talk to you guys. What would be the proper way to do that, or is there a proper way?
I hate when guys come up and talk to me at all. Like, I hate it with a fiery red passion, and it's probably just because I've had so many annoying guys come up and ask me the same annoying questions.
like what? Tell me the annoying questions.
Like, you just get like, and it's honestly not annoying questions. Like, if it was just one guy, like every now and again coming up to me asking me these questions, it probably wouldn't be a problem. It's the fact that 4 guys before this guy just asked me the same 4 questions in a row. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's just so irritating. Like, what do you do? Who are you here with? Like, I don't like, what's your middle name? Like, I don't know, just like dumb questions that like, I'm like, why do you care? Like, what's your favorite color? I'm like, what? You don't actually care what my favorite color is. Just like, I know what you're doing. You're just trying to like take me home. Like, this is just stupid. Like, just come up to me and be like, hey, I think you're hot. I want to take you home. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I don't really care. I already knew that when you looked at me all weird from across the room. You didn't have to come up and tell me it. Like, I already know, bro. And then just like, walk away. Like, I just
it's
don't
really
want to
interesting.
talk to him. Like, it's just irritating.
There are actually dating coaches out there that believe that men should show more intent with women. And what I love about what you just said is like, no, you don't need to show more intent. They know you have intent.
Yeah,
That's not the issue.
well,
I
like,
think that men need to stay in their like dating pool. Like, the thing is that there's a lot of men.
That's a good one too. That is true.
There's a lot of men who go outside of their dating pool. I think that's the first problem.
What,
Because
explain a dating pool. What do you mean? What's a man leaving a
like
dating pool?
there's a guy that's a 4 that goes after a 9.
Okay.
Right.
And that's the first problem. Because if there's an attractive guy that comes up to me, I might be like, okay, I might be interested in
Yeah,
this
that's and isn't that a little bit
but
different?
he
Yeah.
also can't
True.
come so if there's like a guy who's like probably like in my dating pool that comes up to me, he also can't be a douchebag, because I've had that happen and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna vomit. I can't handle this. Like,
What does being a douchebag feel like and look like from your standpoint?
So for instance, there was this guy who like came up to me and was talking to me one night, and he was like, so you look like my wife. And I was like,
That sounds great.
wow.
That sounds. Hey guys, have you ever just curious had a guy either bark at you, try to pick you up
we
and
were
spin you
barking
around?
at the girls.
Oh yeah, you were barking.
I was barking at the girls last night.
Have you ever had a guy try to pick you up and spin you around,
Oh my gosh, I have
or the hand of God, where they just go up and like just grab you? Have you ever had
Yes.
that? What's that been like?
Yeah, the worst. You know what I think the worst is?
What?
Is, like, all of those are pretty wild too. But what I hate like more than anything, this happens like, I'm pretty sure like every girl all the time. Like, this has happened to every girl. It's like when I'm trying to have like, if you come up and talk to me and they'll ask me a question and they legit are just like staring at my boobs the whole time. Like, I don't even know what color their eyes are at this point, because
100%.
all I can see is them staring at my boobs.
Yeah, that's
and
a
I'm
problem.
like,
You have to like be able to.
what's
like,
going on
legitimately-
down here? What's happening?
Babe, I knew you for 5 months. I didn't even realize you had boobs.
No.
Yeah, I just looked at your eyes the whole time.
Thank you.
Yeah, totally. No, but definitely like
Yeah,
I
I've definitely
get it,
had
like,
people try to pick me up and spin me around. That did not end well. They ended up on the floor.
So
Definitely.
stabbed or sliced?
Well, that would be a slice.
That'd be a
That'd just be a
slice.
fight.
I
Okay.
think like like even like, okay, staying in your dating pool, but also like come up and like just have like casual conversation. Don't sit here and bring up like the like lines or
Right.
like ask like, so like can I like the first line, like buying a drink, just like be casual and cool and calm and collect. Like you're talking to like a buddy, like a best friend, like say like, normal shit and like treat me like a normal human being. And then after like we have a little bit of a conversation and we're cool, and then like you finish your drink and whatever is happening, like, oh, like, do you want me to get in the next round? Or like when she orders it, like, hey, I'm going to buy that one. Don't sit there and go automatically like, I'm going to buy you a drink, because then it just feels like, okay, you're here just to get me drunk. And yeah, like, or coming up and automatically being like, you're hot. Like, that's really annoying.
Yeah,
too.
it's annoying. Like, I know. I see myself every day.
Like, I know.
I see myself every day. Like,
You're hot. I know.
Why?
I know I'm hot. I see myself every
Why
day.
are you
I get to
coming
look in the
to tell me
mirror.
this? You just interrupted my conversation with my really good friend right now, and we were having a great conversation just to tell me something I know? Like, it's like walking up to me being like, the sky's blue. Like, I know.
Gosh, I'm sorry. That's so funny. Oh, God.
But
that's
yeah,
funny.
just kind
that
of like
wrong?
being like more normal and not making it so like, you know, just obvious and just like, you know, just like repetitive.
Have you ever talked to someone you just met and they got you to talk about yourself a lot? Like, got you to open up about yourself a lot?
Yeah.
Just a really good listener?
Yeah.
That works out pretty well?
Yeah. I mean, it helps like have a conversation like flow too, and then I get to ask like about them back, and it's just like, okay, we're getting to know each other, and I like that.
That like happens and you don't even, I don't even think like we realize it's happening. Like a guy will be really good at that. They'll come up to you, say something, and you'll just start talking, and you could just talk to them for 30 minutes, and then you like realize you're just rambling a bunch of like shit about yourself. And like, I'm like, yeah, he's not even paying attention anymore. But for some reason, I just want to keep talking to him.
For some reason, I think
Telling him
like
shit.
some of like the
Like we don't even realize he's like done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's crazy. I can't imagine anybody
That
who's
happened to
ever
me.
done that.
I
Yeah.
also think
That happened
one
to
of-
you?
yeah.
Really? Oh, interesting. Okay.
Also, I think some of the best approaches are like when a guy like casually like stands next to you and like points out something like obvious about like somebody being like a douchebag like out there, like, dude, like check that guy out. Like,
That
he's
is true. That
totally,
is
like
funny.
fucking
That'd be a
upset.
situational opener. Yeah.
That
And
is
then
funny.
Yeah, and he's
That is
like,
a good one.
and you're like, I know, like I've been watching
him
them
all night.
forever, like, and then you like start like laughing
is that your
about
man?
stuff.
Why did you let your man come in here and dress like that?
That's true.
What's
That's a
going
good
on?
one. That's a
Yeah.
good one too.
And then it like kind of like makes you smile and makes you laugh and like loosens up the situation. Like stuff like that is always a good thing too, and like makes you like realize like he has like, you know, like a sense of humor, and like a sense of humor is always turn on for a girl.
Yeah, Rolo and I have had not a disagreement, but Rolo believes like you can never self-deprecate, and I love self-deprecating. I think it's the best, especially if it's something that's so obviously not true. So if you're a guy who's like, you know, 6'4", 250, you'd be like, oh, I feel so weak around these big, strong men. Like that's self-deprecation, but it's funny. But I think you can self-deprecate. Like for me, if I'm like, yeah, I get real.
I would be so skeptical of a guy doing that. I'm like, what is he trying to do here?
No, yeah, I think it definitely depends on the person and how they execute it, because I would probably be like that one. I don't know. I tend to be kind of mean. So like I would definitely be that one person in the
tend
group
to
that would
be,
like, I would like if I'm standing around like a bunch of my girlfriends and this guy comes up and just starts doing that, I would be the one that'd be like, what are you doing here? Like, I would be like, what?
Is it not gonna work on Kylee?
Did you just walk over here to say that? Like, we don't care if you feel weak today. Like, I'm sorry, go to the goddamn gym. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do about it? Why are you over here? But that's just me. I don't know. It depends on who it is.
Would you
for
say
sure.
your experience as a bartender, you've had multiple,
yeah, for
multiple opportunities to just like humiliate men?
Oh, I do it all I did it all the time. I used to spray them with like my little like water gun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and with like the hose, like I would spray it with the water, yeah. And some of them would get pretty mad, but I'm just like, stop acting like a little bitch, and I would be spraying you down with water. Now would I? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I used to get, like pour them shots of milk and be like, here you go, here's your milk shot.
Funny.
Is that why you do that to me, baby?
Milk shot.
No, I'm just kidding.
Have you guys
Just
ever?
drink it like the little pussy you are.
I really would. Yeah, and I would say stuff like that to him too. And for like very loud, I'd be like, "Hey, what's your name?" You know, like I'd act like really nice, like, "What's your name?" And they'd be like, "Oh, you know, Jeff." And I'd be like, "Hey, everybody, I'm giving Jeff a milk shot because he's a little bitch." And then like call out why he was a little bitch, like because he just like, I don't know, did something dumb to like some girl or like whatever, and like literally just yell it out, and everybody would be like, "Oh," you know,
my
like,
gosh, at least you'd think twice about doing
yeah,
that
I
again.
definitely have had like guys just start crying like at the bar, and then I make fun of them for that too. I'm like, are you really crying in front of me right now after that? Like you just made it worse, pal. Yeah, I'm kind of mean. I'm like, I should probably work on that.
Should probably work.
I'll think about it.
Wow, you're just there. It took him. It's like Coyote Ugly.
Yes,
You should
I
win a
did.
coyote.
I would do that too. I kind of ran the bar that I worked at, so that was a little different.
Yep.
I couldn't do that here for sure, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
You might be able to.
I mean, I could maybe pull it off.
great.
I would try. I'd probably get 86, but it's fine.
When the first episode of y'all's podcast that you two are starting? When does that happen?
Oh,
This would be great.
what are we gonna call it?
Ideas. Girl. What
Girl?
are we going to call it? No. Brainstorming tonight.
Slash or stat?
I think it should be called.
Slash or stat.
Is there one? I think we should call it the shit show.
there currently is
Well,
Is there?
there is one called the Shit Show that my friend Bianca Gezzi is the host of the Shit Show. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he
Damn.
actually knows. Like,
Yes.
dang it.
The shit show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that'd be great for
That
us.
show already-
I feel like we'd
already
that
exists.
perfectly.
Awesome.
We probably would be the shit show though.
No, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Kylie, where can we find you?
In Michael Sartain's house. With his
She
3
ain't
cats.
lying. She ain't lying with his 3 cats.
I don't know where we're gonna be. We're gonna be in LA for the Derby Day.
yeah.
We're
She looks
gonna
like she's ready
be.
to fight.
We're gonna be
Yeah,
in.
she's got her
Da-na-na-na.
knives in
What's
there.
that thing? We're gonna be in Miami, right?
Yeah, we're going to Babes in Toyland, Miami.
Yep, Babes in Toyland. There you go. That's where I'll
I'm
be.
still
next. I
debating
guess
if
that's
she should go
important.
on Fresh and Fit.
I think that I should go on Fresh and Fit. Me and Myron, we have this.
You have this vibe with
We have this.
Oh my God, this is gonna be so fucking.
Me
awesome.
and Myron have the same ideas. I think we got the same view on life.
Hey, you want to know something funny? The most misogynistic people I've ever met in my life are women.
All right.
Yes.
I'll admit it. I'm pretty misogynistic. I think.
She wants the
definitely an
19th
issue.
Amendment repealed. That's, yeah, these dumb women
Definitely
shouldn't be
don't
able to vote. That's what she thinks.
Yeah, I mean,
Samantha, where can we find you?
On IG, the Samantha Malone, THEE. Can you fix that on there? THEE.
It's THEE. Amber, yeah, awesome,
Samantha _ Malone.
nice.
And I have all my links under my link tree, my Twitter, and OF and all of that on there.
When are you guys going to start Twitch streaming? Different video games.
well, we had a great idea actually.
Okay, what was the idea?
Earlier today that we should start an OnlyFans account together where we just like walk around naked, just like talking to each other because we just say the dumbest shit to each other, and like for some reason like we get it, but if anybody else is listening to this, they'd be like, what is happening? Like, what is going on? Like, I think it would just do so good. And like, why? I mean, we're not going to want to wear clothes, which would make it even better. Cause like, why do we want to wear clothes? So like, perfect.
Already got the subs lined up. Incredible.
Let's get after it.
All right, guys.
Let's work on that.
This has been a revelation. I've learned so much. Thank you guys for joining us, man. Thank you guys all for watching, man. All the new subscribers. Thank you guys. 50K on YouTube. I really appreciate that, and the 250,000 downloads on Apple and Spotify. Man, I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you guys for you two for showing up, for coming out here. Thank you for coming on Access Vegas. We got a crazy week planned. Hopefully, we'll see you at Babes in Toyland.
Yeah, I would love to go. See if
it'll
we can
be-
make it. But thank you for having me.
For
tonight.
sure, and we will see you guys next week.